Our next story comes with a sinking feeling. It's about China, the second most populous nation in the world. China is home to 1.4 billion people, and now land is sinking underneath their feet. A new study is out. It's the first to measure subsidence across many parts of China. And here is what it says. Chinese cities are growing rapidly, and with that, they're also sinking. Nearly half of China's urban areas are sinking faster than 3 millimeters per year. These areas have 29% of the country's population. That's 406 million people living on slowly sinking land. Meanwhile, 16% of the urban areas are losing more than 10 millimeters of elevation per year, meaning 67 million people are rapidly sinking. The numbers may seem small, but they accumulate quickly. In 100 years, a quarter of China's coastal land will sit below sea level. And there are two parts to it. One, China is sinking, and two, the sea level is rising, thanks to climate change. And this makes a dangerous combination. We don't have to wait for a century to witness the consequences. They're already upon us. With every little decline in elevation, the country is at a greater risk of flooding. You may remember the floods of 2023. That's when record rain drenched China. More than 1 million people were displaced and dozens died. If China continues to sink, such scenarios will only worsen. It's a national problem. But how did it occur? There are two reasons. First, the infrastructure. China has 600 million buildings, 600 million. Their sheer weight is pushing down on the ground. Secondly, China does not have enough groundwater, so cities are rampantly pumping water from the underground. Now, parts of the underground are hollow, and this is causing the land to sink. Not just that, the land is also collapsing. We saw this last year in the city of Tianjin. Streets suddenly split apart. There were giant cracks, and thousands of residents had to be evacuated. Tianjin is one of the fastest sinking places in China, but it's not alone. Beijing, the capital city, is also among the worst hit. So is Shanghai, a major center for finance and manufacturing. And this is not good news for President Xi Jinping. But what has he done about it? Not very much. It seems he fails to grasp the gravity of sinking land. Yes, Beijing has introduced some new laws to control groundwater pumping. Shanghai and surrounding areas have been limiting water withdrawal, but other cities have received stepchild treatment. Plus, China's coastal areas have built physical protection. This has helped retain water, but sinking land is not just a coastal problem. China needs to focus on urban cities as well, some of which are sinking faster than coastal cities. So they must act fast, maybe learn from other nations like Italy, the UK, the US, the Netherlands, India, Indonesia, Thailand and Bangladesh. Parts of these countries are sinking as well. And how are they coping? Well, some nations are injecting water into the soil. Venice in Italy is building sea walls. Indonesia's Jakarta is sinking rapidly, so they're building a whole new capital city from scratch. So the measures differ. Some are about prevention, others are about accepting the reality of a losing game and starting a new one. But whichever path China takes, the decision must come before it has to choose whether to sink or swim.
Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 11. And I will execute judgments upon Moab, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly dividing the word and truth and sincerity. And shalom to you believers out there, the Akim Wa'agwath. All right, Ezekiel 25 and 11 again. And I will execute judgments upon Moab, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And Moab is known, that's their biblical name. The China, so-called Chinese, that's their biblical name. The Moab, the Moabites. Okay? And what you seen right here was China is sinking, and that's one of the judgments from Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, man. It's for this place to sink. And they're going to have many other judgments placed upon them. Let's go here real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 48. All right. In verse 9, it says what? Give wings unto Moab, that it may flee and get away. For the cities thereof shall be desolate without any to dwell therein. Okay. So they have 270 million people in danger of sinking, you know, and that's just the beginning for these devils, because, Moab has been very proud. Now, first I want to get into, all right, let's go to 2nd Esdras 15 chapter. Starting at verse 46, it says, "And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person." Now, when we get into Asia, you have all these Asian countries. They basically model themselves after Babylon, after America. Okay, let's take, for example, China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea. All right, these nations with these militaries, they model it after America. Continuing on, verse 47, "Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee." Yeah. And even when you go to Revelation, the 18th chapter, it tells you that what? All these nations committed fornication. And best believe China is one of the ones that committed it. Revelation 18:3, it says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication," right? And that wine is not talking about a cool, good-ass Chardonnay. It's talking about, those ideologies those philosophies, all right? "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." And China and U.S. have relations in trade. That's why you'll get certain things and it'll say, what? Made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Honduras. So Asia, going back, 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, it says, "And thou, Asia, that are partakers." See, what it say? "Woe be unto thee, all right, thou wretch," all right, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, in the 47th verse, "and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom," reading this again, "that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee." Verse 48, "Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Lord, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death." Right. And those floods, those record-breaking numbers of rain, and those 270 million people in danger, because that's like a third of their population, because they got billions, but 270 million people, that's a lot of people, realistically. And this is the beginning. Those are one of those plagues that Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua ascended to proud-ass Moab. Verse 50, it says, "And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee." Yeah, because, you have all these nations that think they're going to be next in power. And China is one of them. China think when America goes down, it's going to be next. You have Russia thinking that, India, they trying to get up there, Saudi Arabia. But best believe in the back of China's mind, when America goes down, they think they're going to be at the forefront. China think eventually it will be number one, but no. "Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as a chastised one with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to be received." Well, Slakia. "And lovers shall not be able to receive thee." Okay, let's go back to Jeremiah 48:29. It says, "We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceeding proud. His loftiness, his arrogancy, his pride, and the haughtiness of his heart." See, and when you go around these Moabites, these Chinese, they're very, very proud, man. When you see them, they have like a stick up the butt, nose in the air type of mentality. All these Asians like that, those Koreans, them Japanese, when you go in their beauty and barber supply store, you go in their liquor stores or whatever, they have this proud arrogancy about them. And the scriptures tell you about that. Let's see. When you go to Jeremiah 48 and 11, this contribute to that pride and that arrogancy. Jeremiah 48 and 11, Moab hath been at ease from his youth. Yeah. And he hath settled on his lees, and he have not been empty from vessel to vessel. So from generation to generation, they have not been plundered by other nations per se. Neither have he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remain in him, and his scent is not changed. Yeah. They have the same mentality. They've been having the same mentality because they haven't been conquered as a people. This is why they have a culture, if you think about it. That whole Asian culture, all right? Ours have been stripped. They have the ancient that they can talk to and go into their writings and go into their history and trace things back versus the Israelites. Let's jump down to the 42nd chapter, Jeremiah 48 and 42. And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people. That's one of the judgments, okay? Because he have magnified himself against the Lord. Yeah, they're very proud. They don't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They got Buddha and all that other shit over there. Fear and the pit and the snare shall be upon thee, O inhabitant of Moab, saith the Lord. He that fleeth from the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For I will bring upon it, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. So the Lord is starting to visit these heathens. That's why you have the Valley of Jehoshaphat being set up, which, their military will be involved in, which is World War III. China going to play a big role in World War III. And it's just going to be a whole host of other things that's going to happen eventually, all the way till they get into captivity. Let me keep reading. Jeremiah 48 and 45, they that fled stood under the shadow of Heshbon because of the force. But a fire shall come forth out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Sion, not Zion, Sihon, and shall devour the corner of Moab and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Woe be unto thee, O Moab, the people of Chemosh perisheth, for thy sons are taken captives, and thy daughters captives. Right, they're going to be in captivity. When we go into Isaiah, what's that, chapter 60? The son of strangers. Let me get that. Here we go, Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. See? So Moab is going to be a part of that. Not just Esau. These Ishmaelites, these Ammonites, all these nations, man. So again, Jeremiah 48 and 46. Woe be unto thee, O Moab, the people of Chemosh perisheth, for thy sons are taken captives, and thy daughters. Yet will I bring again the captivity of Moab in the latter days, saith the Lord. Thus far, this is the judgment of Moab. Yeah, so you're going into captivity, man. You gonna partake. These Asian nations came over here and licked the wounds of the Israelites, like it says in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Isaiah 61 and 5. What do it say? And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. And Moab is going to be one of those nations. They're one of those nations considered the strangers that's going to feed our flocks. They're going to be our vine dressers. We going to put their ass to work. They proud ass. They've been over here, all these Asian nations. That's why in 2nd Ezra 15, Slakia, it says what? And thou Asia. That's not just China. But, just speaking of Moab per se, they're gonna feel that funk too. So I just wanted to bring this out, Lord willing, it was edifying to the next lesson. Shalom.